Hey, hello, hello. Good morning. Um, Here we are, superstars. I think it's the 22nd of August, and it's interesting that some days, I've kind of made this commitment to myself, or to to ha- have something sort of to present every morning, and some days the nothing is there. It's interesting, and then as soon as nothing is there, the mind starts to chatter. Well, the chatter is, you should have something. Well, think of something, and so, and this comes from the mind. It's like, so what came is to share that the possibility of observing the mind. Awareness or consciousness is just that, to observe the mind. And then what came to share is that often we will have distractions so that we don't have to be with the mind. And so we're often in doing. So to just sit with the mind, in a way, takes its power away. And because if you will, the object of the game seems to be to get past the mind and access the power of the universe, to access that higher power. And the mind is full of little traps or pitfalls, So it says stuff about us, I don't know about your mind, but mine makes up all kinds of shit. I can't trust. It can't be trusted. And including, when this, in the last little while, when I'm thinking about, what should I say this morning? The mind is saying, well, you don't have anything to say. Why are you doing this? And it just loves to say, for me, that's the old conditioning. You're not good enough conditioning, and so if that comes up for you, just be aware that yes, it's a big fat liar and a trickster. So just be conscious and aware, and then the mind will often point us towards things outside of us, as a place to find this illusionary answer. It may point us to a trip to India, or it may point us towards a mushroom journey, or time with a shaman, and because it really doesn't want us to look the only place that this higher power, this infinite intelligence, this isness, this unbelievable silence can be found, which is inside. And so practice, if you will, the practice of consciousness, the practice of watching the mind, be with the mind. When whoever it was said, I can never remember, know thyself. It's through the mind, in a way, or past the mind, that we find the self. And so watch the craziness of the mind, and spend some time in stillness. And it's for me, sometimes I recognize that I need to be compassionate with my mind, my conditioned beliefs. because it's been misguided. It was misguided, and so in a way, not to be attached to the mind, but just to recognize that it's been misguided. It was set up and programmed, if you will, by folks who didn't know, by folks who were living in fear, and or living in lack, or they didn't know themselves, so they were living out their programming, and they gave it to us. So we can go past that, but the way past it is through awareness, through practicing being with the mind and watching what it does and the stories that it has, and to let them go. I have a friend that is doing a process in October called the Enlightenment Intensive, and wow, I really, really encourage it, because it's like an awareness, consciousness event on steroids. So we sit for 3 or 4 days with the question of the mind, which is, tell me who you are. And we really get to look deep and recognize that we're not all of the things that we thought we were. The grosser things, for sure, we're not. And then the more subtle things, we're not. The mind's little tricks to keep us small, or to keep us fearful. And the mind makes up stories about people in our lives. It makes up, sometimes where I'm working with newcomers in the program, and their mind has told them that everybody's against them, stuff like that. And it's, the real insanity of the mind. And so we all have it, a short jump from neurosis to psychosis. But with awareness, it goes away. With awareness, it quiets down. With awareness, it realizes that it can't have its way with us. And so that's my encouragement for today. I realized I didn't have anything to say. And as soon as I was present with not having anything to say, lots came, So, I wish I had some trick to show you that would free you. And if there was a trick, this is it. Consciousness. If there was a trick, this is it. Be here now. And watch each moment. Watch the mind. Recognize that we're not our mind. Slow down. Don't take life too seriously. Kind of recognize that there is there's quietness in the moment. Toby's asking me about a prayer. It's a beautiful prayer. I say it every morning, and I've shared it with so many people. It's the 3rd step prayer in the program of the 12-step program, the 12-step process to awakening, because that's what the 12 steps are, really, a simple process to awakening. And the 3rd step is in the big book on page 63, and it's a beautiful, beautiful prayer, and there we go, on page 63, yes. In the big book, if you have a big book, I suggest a couple of things in that book. One, there's a chapter called We Agnostic. Read it. Read it multiple times. It's just really opens the door around our concepts of this higher power, this universal intelligence, this thing that cannot be spoken of. So we use concepts And in the 12-step program, they use quite a few different concepts because there, different religions have maybe one idea. Hinduism has hundreds of different concepts of God, and and Buddha had no concept of God, the one, the center. Indescribable. I think that somewhere in the Jewish faith it says the one who cannot be spoken of, and so in Christianity, Christ said, "I and my Father are one." So he said we are that, and but ego has to be transcended to recognize that we truly are that self-realization. But the prayer is really a contract prayer. I believe it's in the third step. So there's 12 of them, the steps, and they're beautiful. The prayer is, God, I offer myself to Thee, to build with me and do with me as Thou wilt. So it's a complete surrender statement. I offer myself to Thee, to build with me and do with me as Thou wilt. Complete surrender statement. Relieve me the bondage of self, because in that's where the problem lies, is in the bondage of self, in the mind. And relieve me the bondage of self, that I may better do Thy will. So totally we're asking to be relieved of our crazy mind, our crazy thinking, and our selfish thoughts, so that we can go to work for this higher power, for love. For love. I love the concept of love as the higher power. So relieve me the bondage of self, that I may better do Thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of Thy power, Thy love, and Thy way of life. May I do Thy will always. That's the prayer. May I do Thy will always. So we really surrender to this moment, to this oneness, to this universal intelligence, to love. And then we don't have to fret. We really don't have to fret. Life lives us. We're not living life. Life lives us. And we get into the flow of life, and it's amazing. We recognize it's not about what we have, or who we know, or where we've been. None of that stuff matters. It's who we are in the moment, in this oneness with now. So breathe into that. I'm going to read the thought for the day for the 22nd of August. This is in this little book. This is how this all started. The 1st of May, I sat down just to read this book, and then it's become these talks, that just kind of come from wherever they come from. And thanks for watching and listening. This book, it was written in 1950. It was written in 1954, and to be part of the 12-step support system, I guess. And I forget the man's name who wrote it, but it's a beautiful little book. It's called 24 Hours a Day. August 22nd, thought for the day. Those, it says, who do not recover are people who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. Wow. Imagine being constitutionally incapable of being honest with ourselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They're naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. And something, we grow into, all of us, and of course consciousness helps us to live in this honesty. And the honesty is that we're not running the show, that we, the real truth is that we cannot manage our lives. And we have to surrender to this moment. Their chances, it says, are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. So that's right out of how it works on the beginning of chapter 5 in the big book. Am I completely honest with myself and with other people? Meditation for the day. It says, you can make use of your mistakes and failures and losses and sufferings. It's not what happens to you as much as what use you make of it. Take your sufferings, difficulties, and hardships and make use of them and to help others, to help some unfortunate soul who is faced with the same troubles. When something good, then something good will come out of your suffering, and the world will be a better place because of it. The beautiful thing is that those of us who've recovered from addiction and alcoholism have the unique ability to relate to folks who are trapped in their mind and trapped in the mental illness of alcoholism and addiction. Then something good can come out of your suffering, and the world will be a better place because of it. The good you do each day will live on after the trouble and the distress have gone, after the difficulty and the pain have passed away. Nice. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may make good use of my mistakes and failures. I pray that some good may result from my painful experiences. So beautiful. The prayer and the thought for the day. So consciousness, you guys, watch the mind. Be here now. I talked to a couple of young fellows yesterday about this, and this one fellow said, I don't think my mind is ever going to slow down or be well, or I'm always going to be this crazy guy. And he even backed it up by saying, my dad had mental illness and had to be put in the hospital because of it. So we have to watch how we haven't already made up our mind that in a way that we've already decided that we're hopeless. That there is no way out. There is a way out. And the way out is the way in. The way out is the way in. So we can't run. We can't hide. We have to stop and ask for help to face the moment, each moment. And as we do this, it's like anything. We just get more comfortable with ourselves, with the moment. We discover love. Okay, you guys, I better go. All right. Love you lots. Call if you'd like. We can chat anytime. Okay, you guys. Talk soon. Oh, I'm going to be at Cairns today. That draw for that motorcycle is today. And we still have tickets left. Yeah, so we still have tickets left. I'll be at Cairns from noon probably till 4 or 5 till the tickets are all gone. And the draw is today. If you bought tickets from me, they'll be in the draw. And I hope that one of you who bought tickets, yes, Toby says it's hers. I hope so. What fun that would be. Okay, love you lots.